Maintain low tones with me. Maintain low tones.
With the recent outbreak of bitch assness, you starting to really see which cats was fronting, which cats wasn't really about their business, which cats didn't have their weight up, and this recession is squeezing their nuts so crazy that instead of them grinding and getting their grind on and taking care of their family or looking in the mirror, you may be experiencing some of your fellow friends or co-workers hitting you with hate. Bitch assness is simply hate. Bitch assness is simply just acting like a sucker, acting like a bitch, not having the motherfucking manly or woman response to a situation. If you hating anything, you have been infected by the bitch assness disease.
When I was a casual, I thought as a casual, I spoke like a casual, and I looked at boxing like a casual. But when I became a hardcore, I put away all those casual things. This is Michael Rogers, and welcome to Bodywork Boxing. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. And since everybody want to keep it 100, just want to give my 2 cents on the enigma behind Blair the Flair Cobbs. Now, I would say it's maybe barking up on a month ago. I believe Blair the Flair was actually on the Boxing Voice, right? Excellent interview. The young man is full of personality, and I say young man because I'm 41. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily old man, but it's an age difference. You know what I'm talking about? But he had a great interview. You know, he definitely has a flair. He has a flair. No pun intended. He has a flair for actually kind of getting you to want to gravitate to see and hear more. I mean, along with some of the story and, the little dark side of the story and, him being from Philly and then having to make his bones in Mexico and, sparring with Devin Haney. And I saw some of the footage of the sparring with Devin Haney when Devin Haney was, a little younger. And, I was thinking, this man is talking the talk, and the big talk was him, and how he's been basically calling out Boots Ennis. And, for those who may be new or have not heard, how I refer to Boots Ennis, I call him Sasquatch Foot. He used to be the Candy Man because nobody would say his name. And then when Bud, basically didn't, do what was right and take on Boots after the Ugas and Earl Spence came about, I said, man, he got this man looking like young Sasquatch feet. But Blair the Flair was one of the people calling out Boots. Now, I said, man, this is the kind of spicy talk we need. You know what I'm saying? We need that kind of spicy talk. And it was, it was videos out about how Blair went up to Boots after a fight and, was, basically letting it be known like, fight me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, see, that's what we need in boxing. We need the confrontation. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty respectful, nothing disrespectful, but we need that kind of confrontation. And the way the Flair was actually making it seem like, like Boots was basically running from smoke. But, Greg Hackett, did an interview, and I was going to use a clip from YSM, but, in this day and age, depending on who you use and how you use it, some people may not take a liking to it. So I use sources, and when I get a warm and fuzzy about being able to use certain sources, then I'll use them. And I like YSM Sports. He do a good job. I mean, especially if you want to know anything about Boots or anything in that camp or anything, the climate of Philly, I like what he does. You know what I'm saying? So salute to him. But Greg Hackett did a little short live, and he had boots. He basically had boots. I mean, he had Blair the Flair on, and he bought boots on, and the energy was not the same. And all I could think about was Puffy and that, that term he be using. I don't know if my language, caters to the kind of growth that I want to see on my channel, so I'm not gonna say it. But that's what the clip was about. The energy wasn't the same. It was a bunch of nervous laughing and giggling and that fight me, fight me. It was more smiling and grinning and waiting, to respond than the whole beating of the chest. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm like, okay. Wow, I said, because here at Body Work, you know the slogan, man, we don't take things for face value. You know what I'm saying? We do that body work. So here recently, I was listening to some interviews with Blair the Flair, and it's coincidentally, he has a fight coming up next weekend with Alexis Rojas. Blair the Flair Cobbs happens to be 15-0 with one draw, I believe. And I think he has 10 KOs. So he got some power. He does. But Alexis Rojas will be the biggest name on his resume. And I said, I'm listening to these interviews, and he basically picked Spence to lose to Ugas, which is okay. It's okay. But what I don't like when it comes to our brothers, it kind of remind me of like somebody entering the rap game on some beef. Almost kind of like how Uncle Murder come in and how 50 come in, and very few are actually successful. Now, when you enter the game, not saying that Blair is entering the game, but when you approach the game and you're not known and you're making your bones, in this boxing world, and you coming up, how you enter the game is very important. You can call out names, you can stir up a lot of, crap, or if that's what you want to call it, and you can make your bones that way. But I don't respect when people come in the game or try to make their rising by saying just derogatory stuff. So it wasn't the issue about him saying that Spence he picking Ugas to beat Spence. My whole thing was the whole alcoholism. I'm like, unless you have an inside track and you can speak from a place of knowledge, why do we take up on our own kind? That's what my whole perspective on Blair actually changed when I heard that. And then I went on to hear him about, Rolly and Tank, and then he goes on to pick Rolly, which is no problem. No problem. But it seems as though Blair has a flair for controversy. And we saw, I had Chris Colbert back, when he said whatever he said about Wilder, and basically saying, he always picks the boxers over the punchers and all that. I still had his back, because I think all the young brothers who get hit in the head and the face for a living need our support, and I don't deride any boxer. I keep it fair and honest on all of them. If it's somebody I rock with and something negative happens, and I have an opinion on it, I'll keep it to myself, because I never want to really impact their payday. But my message is this: Blair, it's not a good look, man. I think that we should settle down on calling out Sasquatch Foot. He called out Bud and said Bud was a coward, Earl was a drunk, and that Rolly is going to beat Tank. I'm like, okay. You're playing the underdog story, which, some of us do have a propensity to fight for the underdog and root for the underdog. That's always a storyline. Like if you grew up, I might be telling my age, but it was a movie called Rudy, and we love a good underdog story. We do. But let's be honest, man. The kind of controversy that you pushing, Blair, is not the kind of controversy that's really going to help you, especially since on your own label, and we don't know what's going on with Speedy Rashidi. I would have loved for you to say, I haven't heard you say Speedy Rashidi one time. I haven't heard you say Virgil Ortiz one time. Where's the energy for the people that's on the label? Since everybody's doing the in-house thing, contrary to popular belief, everybody's doing the in-house thing. Where's all this energy for Speedy Rashidi? Where's all this energy for Virgil Ortiz? They both at 147. They both have the skills to pay the bills. You got Speedy Rashidi with the speed and the combinations and the angles, the suddenness. You got Virgil Ortiz who a carpet. He got that upper mobility. He shifts to the side. He got that, all knockouts, all stoppages, power. You know what I'm saying? A body puncher. He made my body work of the week. Where was the energy for them guys? But it's real convenient to call out these top dogs who you pretty much not gonna get because, let's be honest, Blair, nobody really knows you, man. So I'm not gonna tuck you away in my little hit list of people that I really don't like, who I do. I was basically I was reminded that I guess sometimes we do hit pieces. You know what I'm saying? We'll because the truth can be considered a hit piece if you're not sipping the Kool-Aid. So I'm not gonna put you on my list of doing hit pieces and really expose them. But this is just a wake up call, man. Don't let me call Puffy, up so he can, because he's a surgeon general when it comes to the. Yeah, don't let me do that. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep it all the way funky. I hope you go out and do your job next week, next Saturday. I hope you do around this time, a little bit later next week. I hope you go out and put on an example and back up all that stuff. But the sensationalism, you already got the public's attention. What you gonna do in that spotlight? And we're gonna be waiting. It's gonna be a whole lot of people because you rubbing a whole lot of feathers and you don't really have any reasoning other than being sensational in everything that you're saying behind this mic. So let's see what you do, man. You a young brother, you got a flair, you got a personality, you got an image. Let's just see you go in there and put on a full demonstration. And you better, if you calling for Errol Spence, if you calling for Bud Crawford, you have no energy for Speedy Rashidi and Virgil, which means you believe that you're above it, and you're calling out Boots. you gonna have to put on a full display. So there's really no enigma, man, but I don't think sensationalism is the way to go. Lastly, I just want to thank all my subscribers, man. Like, comment, and subscribe. I know we get all busy and we get tied up in watching the videos and, you debating whether or not you want to like or... Look, I don't have super chats. I'm a small fledgling channel. I try to keep it all the way funky 10 times 10 because it's nothing more than 100%. We feed the clones. I've been seeing a lot of my little things, a lot of my little tricks and all that getting used on some of these major channels, and I'm just making a list of all the people that's using my stuff and whatever. But hey, you see it. We still growing. Slow and steady wins the race. All subscribers matter. I look forward to, a somewhat good night of boxing next week. And I want to see Blair the Flair do his thing. If you don't, boy, be prepared for that smoke. What else can I say? Body work.
All right. I believe you. But my Tommy gun don't. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
My word, and I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
As you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fuck solid up, man. You know what I'm saying? To the fans and all that.
You gotta jump outside the ring in the fighter. Like I said before, ain't no safety on the clock, so